good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Jump. Andrew Wiggins and other players like Kyrie, Irvin, they've been making a lot of noise in the American media scene regarding being vaccinated. Okay, and I know that's a big discussion piece here, and people will get mad at me for making these videos. I don't really care. Again, I'm vaccinated. I took Pfizer. I don't care what it is that you do, right? If you want to be unvaccinated for whatever reason, I believe it is your right. If you take the vaccination, I also believe it is your right. I don't push my opinions on other people. But I do cover the celebrities as it relates to our black male audience. And we have a lot of African American men who feel like that they don't trust what's going on with the vaccine in certain parts of the world, certain parts of the country. And I believe that Andrew Wiggins fit that particular mind frame. Okay, just like a lot of brothers that are skeptical said that there need to be more research out. But here's what happened. Andrew Wiggins said that he wasn't going to do it. He was willing to give up, missing all 41 home games. In all 41 home games, because they're going to be playing in San Francisco this year. Anybody who's unvaccinated can't play in New York or San Francisco, which those are, two Democratic places, very liberal. And he would miss out on almost like $10 million, $9 million. He wasn't getting vaccinated unless he was forced to. He applied for a religious exemption. The NBA, of course, denied it. And he received the Johnson & Johnson 1-dose vaccination. All right? And he said hopefully it works out in the long run. He hopes that he's still going to be healthy and things like that. I personally believe that he will be, okay? I mean, I know that things can happen. He has children. He wants to have more children. I know that there's certain situations where I've heard that sterility is a problem. But I just want to kind of talk about what I think is where we're going in the future. And it's not going to just be Andrew Wiggins having that choice. Everybody is going to have to start to make that choice eventually. And I don't know how true it is or how soon it's going to be. But I can tell you, I was coming from the airport. Okay? And it was different in the time that I was leaving last year. When I was leaving in 2020, it was like before the situation starts. Now, when you come in now to Europe, there's specific lines that are saying vaccinated, unvaccinated. Okay? The next thing that I believe is going to happen is you don't want to be vaccinated, fine. You can't board a plane. I can't say that this is true, but I mean, if this is happening to rich athletes in certain cities, or you will see, I would think like maybe certain places. I think like some of the southern places are going to be a little bit more giving more pushback. You're seeing people in Texas, pushing back on it. A lot of people in the South are pushing back on it. So, but I think that if you're a person and you want to live in some of the more liberal places, California, you want to live in Canada, all right? Here in Poland, like nobody even people ain't even wearing masks anymore in Poland. Poland is like, when I was last there, Poland is just like going crazy. Uganda, curfew was still at 7, right? And I know that they give you hard times at the airports and things like that. And how many people that are on the saying that I'm not going to take it, I'm not going to do this, and then you find out like, he ended up doing it. And I think that what happens is that what you're starting to see in the world today is nobody wants to miss money, right? Nobody wants to risk being able to work. And if you don't do certain things, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, people like that, if you don't think that it doesn't hold weight, even though he's not in the league anymore, it does hold weight, right? Somebody like Kareem says, if you don't want to do it, you ought to be traded, or you ought to not play in the league. Shaquille O'Neal is saying the same thing, What happens when you have these guys who are NBA Hall of Famers telling the young guys like, yo, if you don't do it, you need to get off the league. You're endangering your entire team, or your workforce, you're endangering people because you're not vaccinated. Unfortunately, the world that we live in is no longer the same, and I think that for the people who are devout and have a religious exception and feel that way, I definitely understand your points of view. Like I said, if it wasn't for me being in medical school, I don't know if I would have been able to, what my position would have been. But I do know that I have to travel. I know I know that I have to be overseas and do things to the rest of my life in the business that I'm in now. You see it coming down in certain cities. So if you live in New York City, you live in California, those cities. So I think what you might see is, are people going to start moving to certain parts of the country? Like Arkansas, Texas, Alabama, Georgia. You might see people start to, certain governments, I think, is going to be like, hey, if you want to come and work here and things like that, you're going to see there's a real big divide in the country amongst these topics. And, all I want is for each person to make the right decision for themselves, whatever that decision may be. It don't have to be my decision, I guess. No, it ain't gonna be LeBron's decisions. But one thing I won't tell anybody what to do is what to do with their body. All right, that's something that I don't want to do. But the thing about it is that if you're playing in the NBA, and if you want to play in those cities, you get the option not to play and not earn money half a year, or you can get along with the program. I think what you're going to see is a lot of people, as time goes on, you're going to see there's still 10% of the NBA unvaccinated. I would suspect 100% will be vaccinated by the time the season starts. Say what you will, guys don't want to miss that money. I think that a lot of guys are, Kyrie Irving, he's a great player. The league will go on without him. It just they're opportunity like the NBA. Every league is going to adopt similar stuff. NFL, MLB. Nobody wants to miss any more money anymore in today's world. Economies are trying to get back to what they were. And I'm gonna tell you like this: in the stock market, bro, I've been getting killed recently. Like the crash of stock market. Oh my God, man. And it's all because of uncertainty over this. So, you have certain, everybody's been, one of my favorite index funds, man, FNCMX and FBGRX, right? Like the Fidelity Blue Chip Growth Fund. Bro, that fund was kicking ass for me. In the last month, FBGRX has lost 13.46%, right? $26 in a month. You know what I mean? It was up all year and just crashing. Everything is crashing, right? So a lot of investors are uncertain. People are uncertain. So, I think this is what you're going to be seeing. So, guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. Check out the first one from the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high.